Hello everyone, it's Brian again. What I'm here to discuss today is a game that's quickly skyrocketed to my top 10 games of the year, and I couldn't be happier in saying that. Denshattack is, for all intents and purposes, an absolute joy to play that's so happy to be what it is that you can't help but smile the entire time you're playing it. Previously, this was one of the few games I've taken the time to demo prior to launch because I was just that curious about it. At the time, I thought the demo gave you a good idea of what the game was and what you could expect going forward, and while I still think that's mostly true, I actually found myself unable to make this review as soon as I wanted to, due to just the fact the game is still introducing new gameplay features up until the final mission that I never felt like I would be doing it justice otherwise. The demo left so much for you to discover in the full release that I'm both baffled and thrilled by the decision at the same time. For anyone who hasn't seen my previous video on the game, I'll give you a quick recap. Denshattack is a high-energy, score-based driving game where you control a train, zipping through the terrain doing as many flashy tricks and maneuvers as possible. Sometimes, the goal is to get to the end of a stage. Sometimes, it's a proper race, while other times it's a score attack to test your skills within a strict time limit. Regardless of which type of stage you prefer to play the most, every single one is uniquely crafted in terms of both quality and quantity, set in a straightforward level progression system like any other game you've played before. You're allowed to go back and revisit any stage you'd like at the push of a button, and as you get through the game, it also gradually increases the roof on what's expected of you, the player. Now, something to note is that speed isn't the only means of finishing a stage. It's also determined by how many tricks you can link together without making mistakes. While the game isn't particularly punishing for folks who want to experience the story from start to finish, if you're trying to get a good score, those punishments you receive can quickly snowball. Starting out, you'll only have the default train to work with, and it doesn't come with any perks. But, as you progress through the game and snag various collectibles in each stage, you can purchase new ones that all come with their own respective pros and cons. For the bulk of my time with the game, and this footage you're no doubt seeing, I really didn't use too many of the other trains up until the very end, when I got one in particular that had a gimmick I wanted to try out. Player expression doesn't end there either, as you can also customize your trains between their color patterns and aesthetics. Some of these options are locked behind using collectibles, while others are given to you out the gate. The system isn't as robust as something like Kirby Air Riders or Sonic Racing Crossroads, but it is enough to play with without exhausting you with too many options. And speaking of collectibles, I should specify, there are 3 different types throughout the game that you can pick up. Spray cans let you customize your train's designs, gears let you purchase new trains, and film reels let you fulfill a magazine in each region of the map, providing you more insight on the inner workings of the Denshattack world. While grabbing these items can be a challenge, say you're the type that struggles with this sort of thing, but you still have a desire to see it all. Don't worry, because like I said before, collectibles are another part of the game where it's not punishing for folks who just want to get the general experience and move on. Once you grab a collectible in a stage, as long as you proceed to then finish that stage, it's yours. In fact, you don't even need to stick the landing when you get them either. I found myself crashing almost immediately after getting some of these things, and the game would just let me know I still had them. Now, that's to say nothing for the score I'd receive afterwards. But, what I find cool about this is that you can replay a stage to snag the collectibles in order to net yourself more points, so there is an incentive to try again without making mistakes if you want to improve your reflexes and high score. I use the word reflexes rather explicitly because I found myself often cracking the joke to my friends that this game can be summed up as someone yelling at you to think fast. And even if the sensory overload of the environment whipping you around isn't overwhelming enough, then there's the way tricks are performed. Every trick is akin to motion inputs like in a classic fighting game, but rather than long-winded button combinations, it's more so things like quarter circles, half circles, and so forth. The timing of doing these tricks fortunately isn't the hard part, so much as it is being able to stick the landing afterwards to keep your score combo going. At first, you'll be taught how to handle the basics before the game shows its true colors as you're progressively made aware of just how many options you have at your disposal. One second you'll be taught how to handle things like drifting, braking, and jumping, but before you'll know it, you'll be double grinding on rails, zip-lining across the sky, and even flipping gravity around at your disposal. The entire spectacle flows seamlessly when it works, because I did experience a couple of glitches that I'm confident will at least be ironed out in the coming weeks. There weren't many, nor were they something I ran into often, but I did experience moments where the train would have issues with collision somewhere. One instance happens when crashing, and the train is just left floating in place for a moment longer than it should before the crash animation would finally play and keep moving. The other glitch is maybe due to how many buttons you need to quickly press, but the train wouldn't connect to walls in time when I felt it should during moments of repeatedly wall riding and quickly hopping between them back to back. I'll be willing to think that the latter of these 2 complaints is me simply having bad timing, but the feeling of doubt is there. Moving on to possibly one of the biggest highlights of this game, For those of you who are out of the loop, the soundtrack for this game has been one of the best I've experienced probably all year from a new release. If you have any knowledge of legacy video game composers, listen to some of this.
Check us out, chose my road. No life is lit to town and grow. Season the dark and the harvest show.
Now, if all that wasn't enough, I do want to touch on the game's story. I didn't spend much time reading the extensive lore from the Collectible magazine snippets throughout the game while making this review, but the parts that are in your face the entire time are satisfying for what the team was aiming for. It's not a plot that tries to be something it's not, rather, this is a story that knows exactly what type of video game it is, and that makes me so happy. If you're looking for a good time, at least play this until the credits are rolling. I've been so excited talking about this game that with everything said and done, I give Denshattack a 10 out of 10. No matter what system you plan to play this on, I couldn't recommend it to folks soon enough. I'm hopeful the team behind this will get the opportunity to make more games in the style with just as much power behind it. For those of you who stuck around to the end, thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe as always if you hadn't, and I'll see you in the next video. Till then, everybody.